Hey guys, gals, and MBs, gonna do a video on the comparison between the Arturia LX-24 plugin here versus the TAL Reverb 4. I ended up getting the FX collection as well during the Black Friday deal, and I really like the collection, especially the 224 emulation from Arturia. It's pretty authentic from what I can tell. I used a 224 many years back. Yeah, and I think it sounds pretty close. It might be a touch bit brighter, but the modulation is there and I really like it. And I believe the TAL Reverb 4 is an emulation of the 224 just by the look of it and everything. It kind of has the slider thing. They can get into the ballpark. This one can get into the ballpark of the other one. So yeah, free plugin versus a paid plugin. Let's just give it a quick go and see what they sound like. I made a hall patch that's a large modulated hall, and I tried to get them to sound very close to each other. It's pretty impossible to do that exactly, but I thought I got pretty close. You can tell me what you think. But yeah, if you don't have a good 224 emulation and you want something free, get the TAL Reverb 4. It's totally worth it, obviously. Free plugin. So, and yeah, no DRM or anything. You just get it downloaded and use it. All right, so I have a harp patch here, or it's the harp patch that's part of the Jupiter 8 from Arturia, and I've modified it to have all the effects turned off. And it sounds like this with no reverb. I should also say the Lexicon 224 is definitely one of my favorite reverbs. All right, yeah, so that's like nothing. It is completely dry. I'll bring that down here, and we're going to turn on the Lexicon emulation from Arturia. All right. And that's what I'm going for, large modulated hall. You may hear spillover every time I turn on and off the plugins. This has a bypass mode that defeats that, but TAL Reverb 4, as far as I can tell, does not, and I didn't want to set up mix buses, so you might hear bleed over. So yeah, there's a little there, because I was playing with it earlier. TAL Reverb 4. Back to the LX-24. As you can hear, both are absolutely gorgeous. They sound quite a bit different, but like I said, I could not get a one-to-one mix. I know I'm running in vintage mode 12 here, and I have the 12-bit bit crushing happening here. I did not enable any kind of sample rate reduction because it sounds really bad on the TAL Reverb. The bit rate reduction sounds great, but the sample rate reduction is too aliased. I believe a real Lexicon 224 has a bunch of anti-aliasing filters because back in 1978, I mean, there's only so much you could do to keep it from sounding very aliased, so I guess they put in, I think, if I remember right, when I've seen the block diagram to a real 224, there's quite a bit of anti-aliasing. So here, let's just listen to what I mean. Like I can go down to, I think it's 22 kilohertz that it runs in. The real thing. I mean, I don't know if it tells you here. Does it tell you what the vintage mode 12? Yeah, I'd probably have to bring up the manual, but I think it's 22 kilohertz. But yeah, it does not sound good because there's no anti-aliasing filter, even though you have sample rate reduction. So I'm turning that off. But yeah, both gorgeous, like I said. I think that the build-up is a little longer in the LX-24 or the real 224. Let's just call it the real 224 because it's very close, at least from what I can remember. And TAL Reverb 4 is kind of just right in your face. It just brings it out. I know I could use a little bit of delay, but it doesn't really do the same thing. I mean, I guess it does. I have pre-delay completely turned off over here, though. I guess we'll have a little delay here. So. I think the TAL Reverb 4 is a little denser. So any way you put it, any kind of settings you do. And I messed with quite a bit of the advanced settings on the LX24 as well. So yeah, I think it is, yeah, there's a bunch of diffusion and all that happening. So yeah, either way, it sounds great on both ends. So yeah, that's a harp patch through it, but let's do something cool, like let's pad sound, because you know pads and the 224 go together very well. I'm not going to do the typical CS80 thing because you know that's the Blade Runner sound, but whatever. We will use the Jupiter, and we'll also use the OBX-A in a minute. So I think Mellow Strings is really gorgeous. Hold on. Of course that's gorgeous. Let me make sure the effects are off. Guess there were no real effects on that. All right, so let's hear a string patch through the LX-24. It's really nice and moody. Then let's hear it through TAL Reverb 4. So you could hear the tails I was talking about. Similar sounds, a little bit different. Definitely brighter on the LX-24, but you know, in a mix, they both sound gorgeous, don't they? All right, and of course, TAL Reverb 4 is free. So let's turn this one off. I think there was a cool pad, and oh, there's obviously cool pads that you can do with a Jupiter. Was it modulated textures? Gentle light. Yep, so that has a fifth up on one of the oscillators, it sounds like. Let's turn off the effects. So yeah, I'm using gentle light. I should have had this up here. Gentle light. That's dry. Let's turn on LX-24. All right, letting the tails die out there. Let's hear it on TAL Reverb 4. A little more comb filtery than the LX-24. Still gorgeous. Not a comb filtery in a bad, really shitty guitar pedal way. Like, God, the what's the TC Electronic one? The Hall of Fame. Ugh. The reverb algorithms on that thing are garish, to say the least. They go from garish to unusable. And yeah, nothing really in between. I know somebody will have a problem with me saying that, but yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's good what we've done there. So let's open up the OBX-A plugin and make some more moody pad sounds, which just sound absolutely gorgeous through these two reverbs. And unfortunately, we have the stupid jump sound. I really despise Van Halen, but whatever. Should have the Tom Sawyer sweep as the default. I should change that. All right. Yeah, so there is under pads, I believe there's a classic. I think it's called classic filter sweep, and I really like this one. I'm going to go in advanced and make sure the effects are off, but it sounds really cool. And you best believe that'll sound amazing through a reverb. So let's hear the LX-24. moody, kind of dark, kind of awesome. And then TAL Reverb 4. A slight bit, it's weird. It's like the higher frequencies are a little more accentuated on it. It's a little more comb filtery, but the buildup is a little smoother, but it does not sound that close to a real 224. Very good. At least from what I can remember, a real 224 sounds like. Now the LX-24 obviously nails it. It's pretty damn close. I can't really remember too much of a difference. I really do think the LX-24 plugin might be a little bit brighter, but that might be chalked up to the fact that I'm EQing a little bit in the plugin to make it sound closer to the TAL reverb. I'm using some of the brightness setting. But yeah, it still sounds really good. Again, I tried to get both of the reverbs to sound similar. And you can get similar. All right. There was another one in here that really sounded nice. Which one was it? I mean, shimmer pad. No, I guess. Oh, let's just do some classic Oberheim strings because everybody loves Oberheim strings. Let's do. It's a little bit too much of a vibrato. There should be a low strings, isn't there? Oh, there's like strings. It's like a brassy string. Oh yeah, we're gonna do it. Right, let me make sure. One of my reverbs running. Oh, the LX-24 is already running. So all right, yeah. So that sounded good, right? It's kind of brassy strings, isn't it? All right. Gorgeous. All right. Let's hear the TAL reverb again. Let's turn up the reverb size just a little more on here. I think I prefer the decay, obviously, the LX-24. It's just a little smoother. The buildup is smoother on the TAL reverb before, but the decay characteristics are a lot smoother on the LX-24. It's kind of nitpicky there, isn't it? I mean, they both sound good. And before I close this video out, let's try something completely different. I've been really having a lot of fun with the Mellotron plugin. This is a really good Mellotron emulation. I thought it was really simplistic until I went into the advanced mode. I'm like, you only have 3 tapes? No, you have 3 tapes that you can blend against, but you have so many tapes you can load into the 3 tape models. And I mean, it didn't make it very clear until I went into advanced mode. So yeah, we're here. Let's see. I think you can... Yeah, so you do this, and then you load. Yeah, here we go. Let me bring it up. Now, obviously, you have the classic flute. And, I mean, obviously, that's from Strawberry Fields. I mean, you know, people are going to call me out. I hate the Beatles, too. So, Van Halen and the Beatles. Both not my thing. But yeah, that's obviously where you'll hear that, the most prolific use of that. But let's do I really like a lot of the strings on the Mellotron. Obviously, it's kind of its thing. The flute and the strings are just gorgeous. Oh, there's a Celestia in here that was pretty cool. Yep, Celestia 74. All right, let's do that. And this one's going to sound really cool. Let's add a bit of decay and or like some release. Has nice drive characteristics and everything, doesn't it? Let's turn down the tape saturation a little. And a little bit more flutter. Turn down the volume just a little. Oh, that might be a little too much, but let's hear the 24 LX-24. Just amazing. And then TAL. Yeah, so I guess I'll leave it at that. Both absolutely gorgeous sounding reverbs. One's free, one is either $100 or $250 right now if you get it through the bundle, obviously, which you get a bunch more reverbs and delays and things like that. I got the Arturia bundle specifically for the delays and the reverbs in it because I really wanted a nice 224, and from what I've heard, this one is pretty authentic sounding. But there's also a granular delay in it. It is, I forgot what the name was. I used it in my last song and I really adored it. Was it, I'm looking here. It's Arturia. It is Fragments. It was the Fragments one. I'll do a video on EFX Fragments, but that made the collection completely worth it. And there's just so many other things in it that I really like, but I'll do extra videos on that. But yeah, I think the TAL Reverb 4, even if it wasn't a free plugin, is a very good sounding plugin, but it's free. So snag it if you don't have a 224 emulation. And if you really want something damn close to the real thing, without the real thing, the LX-24, in my opinion, sounds pretty fantastic. I used to think the UAD emulation was pretty good, and I know they modeled it like perfectly, but there's something missing to the UAD one. I don't know what it is. It could just be like I don't know, snake oil in, or not snake oil. Well, what's the word? It could just be in my head that I don't think it sounds authentic, and that the LX-24 sounds more authentic. I wish I had a 224 that like side by side so I could really listen to the differences. But yeah, they both sound great. The TAL, I mean, versus the LX-24. I'm just rambling now, but yeah. So that's the end of the video. I hope this kind of gave you like an idea that you can find some good free reverbs out there. And the TAL one is definitely a worthwhile one to go check out. And if you really want something authentic, LX-24. All right, thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content and you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Bye.